Judeo-Italian, also referred to as Italkian, is an endangered Jewish language, with only about 200 speakers in Italy and 250 total speakers today. The language consists of a group of Italian dialects. Some words consist of Italian prefixes and suffixes added to Hebrew words as well as Aramaic roots. The term Judeo-Italian, the glossonym type Judeo-Italiano, is of academic and relatively late coinage. In English, Judeo-Italian was first used by Lazzaro Bellelli in 1904 for his article Judeo-Greek and Judeo-Italian in the Jewish Encyclopedia, describing the languages of the Jews of Corfu. In Italian, Giuseppe Cameo referred to Gergo Judaico-Italiano in his 1909 article today.The. The term first appears on p. 169. That same year, Umberto Cassuto used the term Judeo-Italiano in the following: "Actually, while the existence of a Judeo-German dialect is universally known, almost nobody beyond the Alps suspects that the Italian Jews have, or at least had, not to say a dialect of their own, but at least a way of speaking with peculiar features. True, in practice its importance, limited to the everyday use of some thousand people, is almost nothing versus that of Judeo-German, spoken by millions of individuals that often do not know any other language, and has its own literature, its own journalism, its own theatre, and thus, almost the importance of a real language. It is almost nothing, if you will, even compared with other Jewish dialects, Judeo-Spanish for instance, that are more or less used literally. All this is true, but from the linguistic point of view, Judeo-German is worth as much as Judeo-Italian, to name it so, since for the glottological science the different forms of human speech are important in themselves and not by its number of speakers of the artistic forms they are used in. Moreover, a remarkable difference between Judeo-German and Judeo-Italian, that is also valuable from the scientific point of view, is that while the former is so different from German as to constitute an independent dialect, the latter by contrast is not essentially a different thing from the language of Italy, or from the individual dialects of the different provinces of Italy. 256. It was natural that the Judeo-Italian jargon would disappear in a short while. 255 to 256 Biblical representations of Judeo-Italian. One of the most accessible ways to view the Judeo-Italian language is by looking at translations in biblical texts such as the Torah and Hagiography. Today, there are two locations, the Oxford Bodleian Library and the Jewish Theological Seminary in New York, in which these translated texts can be found. Other designations. Historically, Italian Jews referred to the vernaculars as Arizona, Hebrew for foreign language. The Italian Jewish writers sometimes called Minhag ha-Loazim, and linguists use Loaz as a description of words of Romance origin in Yiddish. This may be connected with the Germanic use of the word Walsh for Romance peoples and languages. The Italian and Sephardic Hebrew script for Torah scrolls is known as Velsh or Valish. In 1587, David de Pomme uses the word Italiano in reference to the Italian glosses in his trilingual dictionary. The Hebrew title of the 1609 Venice Haggadah uses the word Italiano for the language of Leon Modina's translation. Other historic descriptions are Latino and Vulgar, both of which were commonly used in the Middle Ages to mean Italian in general. After the institution of the ghetto forced Jewish communities throughout Italy into segregation, the term ghettorialo was identified with local Jewish varieties of regional dialects. Another native name type is Judesco. The neologism Italkian was coined in 1942 by Solomon Birnbaum, who modeled the word on the modern Hebrew adjective Italki, Italian, for the Middle Hebrew adjective Italic or Roman. Influence on Yiddish. According to some scholars, there are some Judeo-Italian loanwords that have found the way into Yiddish. For example, the word in Judeo-Italian for synagogue is scola, as opposed to school, which is scuola. The use of words for school to mean synagogue dates back to the Roman Empire. The Judeo-Italian distinction between scola and scuola parallels the standard Yiddish distinction between shul for synagogue and shul for school. Another example is out from the Judeo-Italian Gentile, as differentiated from the standard Italian Gentile, meaning noble. Dialects. Judeo-Italian regional dialects, including Judeo-Ferraran from Ferrara, Judeo-Florentine from Florence, Judeo-Mantuan from Mantua, Judeo-Modenian from Modena, Judeo-Piedmontese from the region of Piedmont, Judeo-Region from the region of Reggio Emilia in Emilia-Romagna, Judeo-Roman from Rome, Judeo-Venetian from Venice, Bagüito from Livorno. At least two Judeo-Italian varieties based on Salentino and Venetian varieties were also used in Corfu. Characteristics. All of the spoken Judeo-Italian varieties used a unique combination of Hebrew verb stems with Italian conjugations. Similarly, there are abstract nouns such as dovezet, goodness. Also common are lexical incorporations from Hebrew, particularly those applicable to daily life. Terms from other Jewish languages such as Yiddish and Judeo-Spanish were also incorporated. Bagüito, the dialect of Livorno, is particularly rich in loanwords from Judeo-Spanish and Judeo-Portuguese. It was claimed by Casuto that most Judeo-Italian dialects reflect the Italian dialect of places further to the south, due to the fact that since the expulsion of the Jews from the Kingdom of Naples, the general direction of Jewish migration in Italy has been northward. Visuals of the language. The Judeo-Italian language can be found in a Haggadah, a Jewish prayer book typically used during a Seder. Judeo-Italian is represented in this 1716 Venice Haggadah. Library of Congress ISO information. Italkian is not used by the Library of Congress as a subject heading, neither does it figure as a reference to Judeo-Italian. The authorized subject heading is Judeo-Italian language. Subheadings are Judeo-Italian language, glossaries, vocabularies, etc. Judeo-Italian language, grammar, Judeo-Italian language, Italy-Livorno glossaries, vocabularies, etc. Judeo-Italian language, texts. The subject references Judeo-Italian dialect. LC Mark uses the following language codes. Judeo-Italian Assigned Collective Code. This is in compliance with the International Organization for Standardization Language Code ISO 639-2 code.